Hello to all you beautiful people joining us in this edition of March Monday Night Live. It's the first one. Happy month to you all. And it's been a tough weekend for me because I'm wearing this Man United jersey. But look, like I said in my Instagram story not too long ago, join us if you're just catching us at cricket.com. My name's Avni Shaikdi and I'm joined in by Akshay Kumaraswamy and Nikhil Popat. And we're not doing the watch along today. Now, that's something that you guys will have to observe going forward in this crazy cricket calendar because Monday Night Live is something we love to do. And I think that requires a space every Monday night at 8 p.m. So, unfortunately, no watch along for all you lovely RCB fans out there, but we'll, of course, react going forward in this podcast. First and foremost, gents, how are we? Nikhil, you're laughing. Tell me why.
Another day, another opener gets dropped in the first innings, and UP continue to be charitable. Yeah, it's okay. You can't win at everything, so it's good to give RCB a chance.
All right, Akshay, we are looking anxious right now. RCB need the points, 2 losses, 2 defeats.
Yeah,
Two
that's
wins, two defeats.
2 wins, 2 defeats. The ball just happened. It seemed a bit too close for my liking, so that's why I was a bit anxious.
See another.
Fingers crossed that we get. Oh, ये थोड़ा
That's why I told you. See another. She's missed the stumping. So
Look, there's got to be more crazy reactions and heart-stopping moments, clearly, in Akshay's case. And Vasant Narayan already saying, why no watch-along for Akshay, favorite RCB? We just explained, Vasant, but we appreciate how much you guys like the watch-along. And there's going to be so many in-studio watch-alongs in the next week or so. Before we go forward, let me just tell you what we are planning to do on the MNL. And you guys must have figured it out right now with the thumbnail and the titling. Now, that big news broke out, I should say, with regards to SRH picking their captain for IPL 2024, and no surprises. Or many are surprised, actually, because Aiden Markram is not such a bad captain, given that he's won back-to-back SA20s, but they've gone for Pat Cummins. So what is Kavya Maran and Dan Mittori thinking? We'll, of course, try to break it down for you all. Not just that, we'll look forward to the Dharamshala test as well, which is taking ages to kick off. And I don't know if you saw the latest episode of cricket.com Act, but it will just give you an indication of how Indian fans are waiting for this. So we will show you our 11 heading into that final test. And we'll also talk about different things which are caught eye in the last week. I'm talking WPL, PSL, New Zealand, Australia, the Ranji. So there's lots of things to get into. That we'll start with, of course, SRH and Cummins. Guys, where do you stand when you heard this news in the morning? Akshay, I'll start with you. Yes or no? Good move?
Man, it's hard to sort of be so black and white with this. Given that they'd spent 20 odd crores on him, it was sort of expected that he will be made captain because he is going to start for them. So in that sense, I actually think, this might be slightly unpopular, but I think this is a good move in that Pat Cummins was anyway going to start come what may. This at least ensures that, they're not blocking 3 of their overseas spots. Had Markram been their captain, then Markram, Cummins, and of course, Klaasen is going to be a short starter. So they would have had 3 of their overseas spots locked. This way, they at least have the flexibility of, dropping Markram. But is that the greatest of ideas? I'm not sure, man. Like, personally, this all goes back to the auction. So, like, if anything, the fact that they bought him in the auction itself wasn't the greatest of moves. But once that was done, yeah, I don't think this is too bad. So they had to do this.
All right. Next, where do you stand in this with regards to Pat Cummins being appointed their main man for this season?
as Akshay said, some of it felt really obvious, straightforward. That given that they've paid so much for him, maybe that is what they were looking for. In the auction. So they've gone by that logic. See, the Markram bit is just a bit more talking point because he's won 2 titles back to back. So it isn't that he hasn't had done that. And again, Cummins doesn't even captain Australia. So it's up to you in terms of how you look at captaincy. And maybe they're looking at some tactical nows because Dale Steyn is also leaving SRH from what we know. So maybe the bowling captain is what they need, and that's what they're going ahead with. But as Akshay said, it is still going to open a can of worms in terms of who do you play, who is your starter. And we've discussed this in the past. When you make an overseas player your captain, that person has to really come through. Otherwise, it doesn't always bode well.
All right, let's just show you some facts and figures, of course, and try to understand this move closer. Meanwhile, we'll just take a couple of comments, and lovely to see all the regular cool cats, I should say, as always. Uh, so Hangi Shivata saying we love Cummins. Greg saying Markram is the MVP. Cummins is not a good T20 player. And by Avinash, first of all, it's Avnish Dhruv, holds his mic throughout the show. Look, it's just that extra effort, Iskans. Sure, I can get one annoying little thing over there where Akshay has one, but it's fine. Akshay has different things to do with his hands. Not insinuating anything by any stretch of the imagination.
Why?
Shashank,
Why
good
would
to
you
see
credit
you.
that sentiment that way? Why?
Good to see you, Shashank. Hopefully, you are a SRH fan. Speaking of SRH fans, we're going to get in touch with one very, very shortly. And SRH should have had gone after Shah Rukh Khan instead of Cummins and stuff with Markram as captain. Let us know your thoughts, indeed. And hello to you, Nani Kaur. Hello to you, Hayes. Hayes also going down to say this is a Juve jersey more than a United jersey. And Akshay is a pro streamer. He is. He really, really is. Right. On to that SRH little graphic we've designed, because you look at the history. And they've been a franchise now for over 10 years, guys. And you look at those names. Sankara was their first ever captain. Then they threw it to Cameron White in the same season. Then Dhawan also. It was quite turbulent. But then they got some stability with Warne coming in for those 5-6 years before, again, it was not so pleasant with regards to the last 3 years. Sure, Kane Williamson would probably be remembered as one of the good captains, even though he just got SRH to that 2018 final. But David Warner was the only man to win it for them in 2016, of course. Bhuvi did, of course, have his time as captain here and there. Manish Pandey also had the odd season, and Markram it was last year. So this year it will be Pat Cummins. But what does SRH see in Pat Cummins? Well, I'll tell you, starters, you look at his CV, it's ridiculous because his international record as captain, this is across ODIs and tests, of course, and it's pretty much a good one if you take a look at it, winning 2/3 of his games and some amazing trophies to already showcase in his career. The World Test Championship, retaining the Ashes away, winning the ODI World Cup, and not forget those personal accolades as well. So have SRH got carried away with Pat Cummins' aura more than actually seeing how he will fit in terms of a T20 cricket option? Akshay, you first.
That most likely seems to be the case. There's a lot of recency bias involved, especially given that the World Cup had happened just about, a month before the auction. Because if you guys remember, even the India-Australia series that happened didn't feature him. He's, in fact, not been a part of their setup when it comes to T20 as after the World Cup, which clearly shows that, Cricket Australia themselves don't rate his T20I skills that highly. It could be the case that, he probably asked for some rest because he tends to prioritize the test format and all of that. So that also could be the case. But in this format, like I've said before, I look at Pat Cummins primarily as a batting all-rounder. He has a lot of batting value to add, something we've seen in the IPL as well. He's an excellent pace hitter. But once again, when it comes to his bowling, I'm not sure to what extent can he add value there, given how sort of SRH's bowling attack looks like. They don't have a lot of spinners in their attack. I mean, they've not used them well. Mayank Markram hasn't got a lot of chances. When it comes to their paces now, Marco Jansen will most likely not find a spot in the 11, despite him being the better option ahead of Cummins in the squad. I don't think Marco Jansen will now be featuring. We're not sure about Bhuvi. The jury's still out on Natarajan and how good will he be. So given all of this, giving your captaincy to Pat Cummins could probably restrict them in terms of the kind of bowling that they can do.
Is it just me or we lost Akshay?
Yeah, we can't hear him.
Is it
No,
better
I think,
now?
yeah, it's better
Completely
now.
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, no,
All
with
right.
the last just 3-4 seconds, but I concur with those points, and we'll try to get an SRH fan perspective on board. And just before we bring Yash on, I just want to ask Nix about Pat Cummins' T20 credentials as captain. He's not captain ever in T20s. Now that's something to think about as well. But do you think he's been made captain because of two reasons marrying in itself? One, because what he's won and everything he's touching is turning into gold, and plus the amount of money that they've spent in Nick. So are they forced in many ways to make this move?
They also have Vittori, who was with them. So you can't let go of that. And I can see it's not a surprise and it's not something wrong as well. We all of us like to work with people we are comfortable with. And we see that in many workplaces. This is just another example of it. In terms of the graphics also that we showed, none of it was T20 related.
Yeah.
Everything is outside of that T20 system. And T20 is a format where you could say both captaincy is overrated, it is not overrated. It depends completely on which side of the fence you are on. So to the point of adding value, he will. But what makes this appointment even more peculiar is, as Akshay said, there are holes in that lineup in terms of playing the leggy. You have two people who are probably at the top of their powers in terms of all rounders in Klassen. Glenn Phillips has just taken a fifer. Again, different format, but then you are also equating that as well. So you're bringing in current form. You also have Vanandu Hasaranga to play. So then how is it that you are going to fit in a right combination for a right place? And then there is still one player, Travis said, जिसके बारे में तो we have not even talked about. Okay, how do you fit in if you make Pat captain? So I think yes, captaincy, Australian, Victory, everything buys into this. But I'm very looking forward to see how do they find a right combination and how will it make sense to everybody, because somebody will always have some bones to pick with कि भाई, this squad is missing this combination is missing that. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like you mentioned, Head, you mentioned Hasaranga over there. They still have amazing T20 pros and Glenn Phillips and, of course, Aidan Markram himself. Even Marco Jansen being pointed up as Shashank over there, and Kanan having his thoughts. Hayes saying brand value matters too. Look, SRH fans, if you guys are just joining us, we're going to get even chat here right now because we're going to get a guest on the MNL today, and it's going to be a fan first indeed for us on MNL. And let's get him on. But just before that, SRH fans, if you guys are watching, please like this video because I know it's been tough times for you guys. When was the last time you guys made the playoffs? 2020, so 3 seasons and all languishing at the bottom of the table. And I know I'm an RCB fan. I shouldn't be really speaking about things at the bottom of the table. But look, enough of me, and let's get Yash's thoughts right now. Yash, first and foremost, welcome to MNL, man. It's good
Hello.
to see you. And
Yeah.
fantastic to hear from you because the first time we saw each other, can you tell the viewers about it, please?
It was a wonderful match, to be honest. Virat Kohli scoring a century was a dream of every fan come to RCB fan. And indeed, SRH fans too enjoyed that moment. And I mean, even Heinrich Klaassen got a century, if you remember there. And like, was the one of the best experiences I've ever had in a cricket match.
Yeah, it was actually SRH RCB. What a game it was. And I met Yash, who was pretty chatty to me that day with regards to all things SRH. So I really wanted to kind of call him back on the show and get his thoughts about Pat Cummins as captain. Yash, it's first of all a mouth-watering fixture to start your IPL 2024 campaign. It's money versus
Yeah.
money in terms of Stark versus Cummins, and that's going to be great. But what do you make of Cummins as your captain, let alone for you guys to buy him at 20 crore odd?
See, look, first of all, Cummins is like it has both disadvantages and advantages. Since he was a World Cup winning captain, obviously the management should have thought about it, and management must have seen some qualities in him, so they named him the captain. And like it's also like people are saying that was it a good or bad decision to remove Markram, because again the fact that he has won back-to-back SA20 titles for his home team, Eastern Cape, and the experience of T20 game, obviously Markram has it more, but let's see, hope for the best. And like there's also trending that 2009, yeah, Adam Gilchrist, when he was the first time captain of Deccan Chargers, he won the title for Deccan Chargers. And Warner 2016, he was the captain of SRH and he won it for the first time. So another Australian captaining SRH for the first time, fingers crossed, and we got to do it this time.
I just love fans like these because they kind of put any sort of math and they do the mathing. If you guys know, you know. But good points mentioned by Yash there. Yash, I just want to ask you right now, the season hasn't started, not a single ball has been bowled. But if I have to ask you as a fan, who are you hunching as your 4 overseas picks? Let's start there because then we can make sense of this Cummins captaincy. So, does Cummins, in fact, feature for you in the 11?
I mean, he is the captain, so definitely, yeah. So one is going to be Cummins, and I guess second, obviously, Klaassen, a wicket-keeper, power hitter, and then I guess it will be Head, because again he was for bought for a good amount of price, like 6 or 5 crores, and he is a brilliant opener too, an Aussie. And second, I guess it will be Marco Jansen, or yeah, Marco Jansen, because he's an exceptional power play bowler. And you saw in SA20 his batting. Oh my God, he was just a fantastic batter, like all rounder with batting perspective on more highlight.
Absolutely. I think finally, I just want to ask you, where do you think SRH will end up with? Because new coach, new captain, new storylines you feel with this team? Because they have all the firepower, but can they make the playoffs? Are you hopeful?
I mean, SRH changing its management and coaches is so obvious that we have got habituated to it. And like this year, we hope SRH really qualifies for the playoffs. We have got Vittori, we have got a new bowling coach as well. Dale's team is missing out. That's pretty sad news, to be honest. But let's hope for the best. And I really want SRH to win this time with the streak of Pat Cummins coming in, and just hope for the best.
Look, Yash, everything he's been touching turns to gold. Let's see from a SRH perspective if he can get the IPL as well on that CV of Pat Cummins. And we really appreciate your time joining us from Hyderabad in this one.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Right, it's always good to catch up with fans, guys. Sorry, I didn't kind of ask you guys to throw some questions at him, but we were kind of asking him the same questions anywho. And there's more things to talk about, so do feel free to, of course, have your say about SRH in the comments, which people are having a say. Now, SS98 saying head class in Cummins, Hasaranga. And that is the obvious four in terms of just the strongest on paper. Yes, you could say Markram does give you a lot because he bowls, he bats, he's an exceptional fielder, if I may add. And of course, he's played the IPL and he has that pedigree over there. When you talk about...
yaar.
Oh, hello.
Sorry,
Hello.
Smriti Mandana lofted it over extra cover. What a six. Sorry, had to cut you there. But just one thing, Avnish. I mean, not the segue I was hoping for. But the four overseas players, Nikhil Bhai, do you agree with this? Is head that obvious a choice given that they already have Abhishek and Mayank and they would need someone in the middle order as well?
When you pay so much, it's very hard to not play them. We already seen that with Brook. Again, see, this is something that I don't know how many people believe or feel strongly about it. I think you can play head and say that, okay, he gives you an aggressive left-handed option, but you already have one in Abhishek Sharma. Why do you need an overseas pick for that? You want a guy who can bowl off spin. You already have Markram who can do that for you. And again, play in the middle order. That has been some of your issues in the past. So, see, in terms of what I expect head to start. I expect head, Cummins, Klassen, and Hasaranga to play maybe. But I would want them to play Markram. But it would be very, very obvious if they go ahead with head. So, can't do much about it, to be very honest.
Okay, Akshay Hayes is saying Hasaranga is overrated. I would go for Markram and Markande, better option. And please don't let Abhishek bowl who bats for SRH. So I know we're doing the mega previews on the 20th and the 21st of March and going to be talking about all the teams there. In fact, on the 19th itself, we're going to start off proceedings. And it'll be great to kind of dissect SRH like the other 9 teams, Akshay. But if I have to ask you right now, can you already foresee their starting 11? Guessing what they had last season with the inputs right now, if I had to really get something out of you?
So I have my idea of what their best 11 would look like. So this is not what SRH would actually feel. So two differences, because I personally don't see head being a part of their best 11. They already have Abhishek and Mayank, and Markram would add more value than head, both with the bat and the ball. Markram is a much more proven off-spin option when it comes to T20s. We've seen that across leagues, across both T20Is and T20s. So I would have Abhishek and Mayank open, then Rahul Tripathi, then Markram 2 down, then Klassen 3 down. 4 down would be Abdul Samad, 5 down Washi, 6 down Cummins, 7 down Hasranga, 8, 9 would be Natarajan, Bhuvi, and then you've got your impact player. This is bowling. This is batting first. So bowling first, I would replace one of the batting options with another bowler. So this would be my bat first 11 for SRH.
Do you agree with him, Nix? Because I think that's pretty solid on paper.
Yeah, it is. I think very difficult to pinpoint an area where you would feel that, obvious change here. So I think it does look like a sound one. But again, we know it's not going to happen. So let's put that out as well.
Okay, I'll tell you what is going to happen is that you guys are going to like this video right now, because I realize that lots of you guys are watching, but not many people have liked. So please, it helps with the algorithm, like I keep saying. And if you guys want to, of course, be like Yash and feature on future MNLs, please do reach out to us. More than happy to get more fans on this podcast, because it's an interactive one at the end of the day, indeed. Just to finish off with SRH, quick early predictions. Do you think that they can, threaten breaking into that top 4, which is a hard thing for all franchisees when you look at it? And because Cummins has been so exceptional, he's gone to New Zealand, he's won a test there. It's like this man can do no wrong right now. So do you think it'll continue over this summer? Because many people are thinking, because Cummins is actually part of that Australian team going to the World Cup as well, he might win the World Cup and the IPL. That is just ridiculous. So quick predictions. Akshay first, where do you think SRH is going to finish? Top 4 or not really?
Don't see them making the top 4. Just one more thing, Shashank, आपके 11 में the 5 overseas players. As much as I'd love to see 5 overseas players in an 11, I don't think that's possible. But yeah, I don't see them making the top 4. That's a shot by Perry, yaar, a chakka by Perry. Nicely done. But yeah, don't see them making the top 4.
Okay, next, where do you stand?
Yeah, if they sneak in, they could go on and win. But if they don't, then no.
Okay, let's see how it really trickles forward, obviously. But I love the fact that Yash mentioned that point. It was, of course, 2009 Gilchrist and then 2016 David Warner. Will it be Pat Cummins in 2024? Let us know your thoughts if you guys are watching this later on, indeed. And Shubham Gupta, yep, 50 for Smriti Mandhana. Akshay is definitely making his presence felt, even though it's an MNL. We like the fact that RCB have got off to a flying start, like 99 for 1 is what I saw last. They're 112 for 1 now. So good on them. Right, let's move on and focus our attention to what is a tantalizing test match on Thursday. It would have been if England bloody won in Ranchi, but that wasn't the case. India getting the job done, which means it's 3-1. And it's not a dead rubber because there's still WTC points to play for. But Nikhil Popat, what are you expecting come the final test? Bumrah or not really?
They should play. I'm looking forward to him taking 10. Could be a very good venue to do it as well. And everything is just looks right for that to happen. Even England could potentially finally play 3 seamers there if they want to. Who is anybody's guess, but everybody's well rested now. So that could make it very, very interesting. So I think conditions will dictate. And of course, we'll hear about the mountains and the views, I don't know, 1 crore times on the broadcast, but it's okay. Someday we'll also go there and watch matches. But I'm expecting movement every day first star at least, because we rarely get to see a start that high in terms of altitude and test match. So all the ODIs or T20s, they also start very later in the day. So it's going to be a task cut out to bat out in the first session. But looking forward to the pitch as well. Does it balance out? Because I'm expecting a lot of early wickets to fall every day.
Yeah, because normally when you think about Dharamshala, you think about green tops, you think about that beautiful scenery that you guys can see. And I spoke to some of the Brits. You know what they said? They told me instead of Dharamshala, they said Dharam Masala. Are you going to be there? And I'm like, Dharam Masala? That has a peculiar, funny ring to it, but only the Brits can come up with this shit.
They are too used to Dharamsena. So, anyways, let's go ahead.
And the garam masala, because curry is their national dish and all of that. But jokes apart, Akshay, reading everything and looking at this Dharamshala test, sure, people are saying 3-1 and India can make a real mark on the series because they win it 4-1. It's absolutely sending a message to baseball. But it's also a plethora of landmarks. There's Bairstow's 100 test, Ashwin's 100 test, Anderson might get 700 if he does get the nod. So there's different subplots that way. I just wanted to ask you and allude to the graphic I'm going to put up right now in terms of your playing 11 for India. This is what we've decided. And do you see any last minute jiggling or not really?
Not really, and Bumrah is the only sort of bone of contention. Like, what do the Indian management decide? That is, since Bumrah has already been declared fit and he's been part of the squad, made part of the squad, so you would imagine that he will be playing the test. But barring that, I am expecting Patidar to get another go, given that Rahul isn't fit. Some of them have, spoken about Padikkal potentially making his debut and all of that. Hopefully that shouldn't be the case. ये series already आपने पाटीदार के साथ शुरू कर दिया. Just give him this series to sort of see how this goes before you take a call. So I would stick to this, more or less. Yeah.
Okay, that's the interesting point you mentioned over there. Patidar, whether he keeps his place, because I see the logic of keeping the place of Patidar, because if you even kind of insisted a Padikkal, and if he does well, then what happens to his career when he has to come back for the Bangladesh series? If he even gets a call up, only time will tell. So it just does India more harm than good, even though I'm a huge fan of Padikkal. Let's just go back and get Nikhil's thoughts about that 11. And I know Bumrah is going to be traveling for that test, so you expect him to start in that game because he's not just going to fly to Dharamshala for no rhyme or reason. Any other changes do you see? Because you mentioned the pitch there, Nick. Do you think India will still persist with Ashwin, Jadeja, and Kuldeep, or do you think they could probably drop one of the spinners and make it Akashdeep, Siraj, and Bumrah?
I think it would be very tempting, but it a lot needs to be seen in terms of how the deck is going to be. I don't expect them to give a wicket which has a lot of grass. It will not make any sense. You're not playing, you're not preparing for an England tour there. So just keep it nicely, in terms of rolled and good batting deck, but something for the bowlers due to the atmospheric conditions there. So unless they feel very very strongly that this is too much and the forecast is also too cold, maybe that's why we'd want to play more seamers, then potentially you'd possibly say two spinners, but then who do you drop? I don't think it's a straightforward one in terms of saying, okay, Jadeja definitely plays. Ashwin is playing his handset test. How do you drop Kuldeep? So there is no logical reason. And again, Dharamshala is also where Kuldeep had a great start in terms of the Australia game that we had there. So I think they'll back them to come good. So unless you see a lot of grass and a lot of fresh grass where they expect a lot of things will happen with seam, I don't see them changing that combination too much.
Okay. Was a large gap between fourth and fifth test or comedy players in the Barney pre-wedding? I don't think they would have really factored that in for sure. And it just makes you think one more thing with regards to how the surface will play out, because like Nix was alluding to, it depends on that morning. All the players will be ready to go. It's not like a do or die test for India, thank God for that. So they can, of course, go out there, express themselves. And again, another chance for Patidar, another chance for Dhruv Jurel to show the world how good a player he is. Another chance for Sarfaraz Khan to go out there and, of course, solidify his position in the test match scheme of things. By the way, do you guys think the match will happen? Seeing the weather forecast there, I know sleet is forecasted for day one. It's about 5 to 6 degrees in the day. So it'll be probably the coldest test match India has seen in a while, because you look back at the coldest test match, apparently it was 1974 in the Chinnaswamy, India-Sri Lanka. Go look it up. With regards to about 7 degrees or something like that. People are also shouting out the 2001 India-England-Bangalore test, where it was played under lights for the first time. There's fog. That was that match where Michael Warne got out handling the ball of Sarandeep Singh. Sachin got stumped of Ashley Giles, and Nasser Hussain was up to his no good as captain, should we say, in a polite way. Lots of people still, of course, joining us right now, so they must be still in that SRH chat. Feel free to let your comments through, and we'll take some more questions in the 12th man segment, which, of course, precedes it. Before I move on to the MNL question tonight, I just want to, of course, throw back things to Tuesday, I think it was, boys, where India and the BCCI got the central contracts out. Now, we saw the great A-plus contract with the familiar names in Rohit, Virat, Bumrah, Jadeja. And we also saw a few people did get those contracts. Dhruv Jurel coming to mind. So where do you guys sit on that really quickly? Was there anything which was eyebrow-raising in particular, Akshay, for you on that regard with the new contracts for the Indian men's team?
One thing that Gurkirat had pointed out was Chahal missing out. That was actually a very conspicuous sort of, exclusion. Because he was sort of our go-to option when it came to white ball cricket, and now the fact that BCCI have well and truly moved on from him. Again, we're not sort of insinuating anything here, because clearly there are better options that have come about in the last year or so. So rightfully the sort of call was taken. But just the fact that that pretty much means that Chahal has to sort of play out of his skins in the IPL to sort of warrant a spot not just in the World Cup, but in international cricket in general. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how sort of he looks at it.
Yeah, and it gives you an impression also, Nick, about how you see the tiers in terms of the A plus, the A, the B, and the C. KL, I think, is in that A contract. There is Hardik as well, and all the other names that you associate, Ashwin's name as well in there. Any particular surprises, exclusions, or inclusions from your perspective, Nick, that you would like to see or not see?
Not someone who thinks too much about the contracts, because again, India keep picking and dropping people out of anywhere. So when he said Chahal was the go-to guy, but he's the go-to guy that they drop from the side whenever there's a T20 World Cup. So this time they've gone ahead and said, don't take contract only. So
हाँ,
it is weird.
इस बार
I
4
don't know
महीने
how.
पहले बता रहे कि वर्ल्ड कप नहीं है भाई मेरे लिए।
But don't expect also. So I don't know what to make of it. But see, in terms of Shreyas and Kishan, I think a lot has been said already in terms of why they haven't gotten a contract and about wanting to prioritize domestic cricket. I just hope all of this also results into good action in terms of taking care of domestic cricket and ensuring there are enough cases where you put that forward, because it's not suddenly that you've discovered that there is a Rajat Patidar, there is a Sarfaraz Khan, there is an Akashdeep. It's taken an entire middle order to go out of the way for you to take them into the squad. So, I mean, Panchal, Ishwaran, they'd all be wondering, Jala Saxena, that where was this all these years? But as they say, Dera hai Durast hai. So hopefully that is taken care of, and whoever hasn't got the contract, I'm just hoping sincerely that the communication is done. That this is the exact reason. We don't need to know it. As long as the players and the board know that this is why you haven't got a contract, or this is why you are not in A or in B, like Akshar Patel, I think, has been demoted. Then it's okay. It happens. It's a thing that you have to take care of in terms of every workplace. So hopefully that communication is done. That do this, and then this will happen. As long as that communication is done, I think I'm completely fine with it.
Okay, super. Let's, of course, adhere to some questions right now before we ask you that Monday Night Live question. And about the contracts, guys, the fact that essentially the BCCI allotted the salary for the Indian cricketers, and we were just talking about that and how it reflects in their points to get positioned in the BCCI's grading system. And they have a grading system for both the men's and the women's cricketers, of course. Now, A plus category, let me just quickly run you by the qualification for the annual central contracts. A plus category normally talks about the all three format players. A category, all three formats as well, but at least two formats and test cricket necessary. The B category is two formats, and the C category is a single format player indeed. Now, international cricket salaries. Now, the grade A plus, I think AJ Ragnarok, you're asking, it's 7 crores for your Virats, your Rohit, your Bumrahs, your Jadejas. The grade A's is 5 crores, grade B is 3 crores, and grade C is 1 crore. And there's domestic cricketer salary as well, where if you're an under 19 Indian cricketer, your salary is 20,000. 20,000. I'm not even joking. It's on paper. Go check it out and do your research. Under 23, 25,000. And if you are, of course, a senior where you played at least 40 matches for your state side, it's 60,000 indeed. So look, more on that. We were just touching upon that because it happened earlier today. We're going to talk about a lot more things in the best of the rest, including Lord Shardul Thakur. So I know people are jumping upon the Ranji stuff as well. And Prajwala Benavur, Kushal Shah, you guys have some excellent questions, which I'll definitely take to the end of the show in the 12th man segment. Right, but today is, of course, a sad day in world cricket because it's been 2 years since the passing of the great Shane Warne. And we did, of course, an amazing video with our past experts. Go check it out. It's available on the cricket.com app or the YouTube page and, of course, the website. It's called Remembering Shane Warne. In fact, I'll just present it for you so you guys know exactly where it's available. And there's Dirk Nannis, Shane Warne, Graham Smith. They all had their thoughts in this one. It's quite fascinating. Trust me, go check that out. Especially Graham Smith, because he shared the dressing room with Shane Warne, and he said he loves smoking cigars with Shane Warne after every game. So really fun tales with that. That is the question I want to ask the community and the chat and the boys, and I'll of course have a go as well. Before we move on to the best of the rest, Akshay, what is your fondest memory of Shane Warne? I know you saw him more in the IPL. I know you must have seen him more in the twilight of his career, the 2005 Ashes, so on and so forth. But you can tell me any favorite Shane Warne memory of yours, on or off the pitch.
Thank God. For a second, I had my heart in my mouth. Sorry for that. But when it comes to Shane Warne, I'll be honest. I've primarily seen him only in the IPL. I did not watch any of his international cricket live because I was too young then. And at 7, 8, I was just following Indian cricket, to be honest. But more than my fondest memory, something I got to know very recently about him, that I'll sort of narrate the incident. So Gaurav Kapoor, as you all know, like very popular anchor who was a part of the extra innings, back in the day. Fantastic anchor. So he sort of narrated this incident. So when the IPL was happening in South Africa in 2009, so apparently between the innings, so Rajasthan had batted first, they'd scored something. And during the innings break, Gaurav Kapoor had gone for a smoke. He used to smoke then. So he'd gone behind the side screen because that's the only sort of area available that's not open, that's not open to the public. So no one sees him smoking. And he finds Shane Warne smoking. And he sort of goes, Warne, the game begins in like 5 minutes. Are you sure? He's like, yeah, don't worry, don't worry. And then he looks at his clock. He's like, Warne, there's just 30 seconds to go. What are you going to do? So Warne just takes a cigarette down, stubs it, just hops over the fence, fields it long gone. So he'd already set the field up. He'd already told everyone what their position is. He was going to field it long gone. He was smoking behind the side screen. 30 seconds before the game's going to begin, he's just hopped on the fence and stood it long gone. So that was Warne for you, and a brain, a brilliant mind. Simon Toffel has on record said he, along with MS Dhoni, are two of the shrewdest, smartest cricketing minds he's ever come across. Unfortunate that he never really got to captain. Again, not blaming anyone. Ricky Ponting clearly was a fantastic captain in his own right. So that was sad. Unfortunate. It would have been great to see him captain Australia as well. But yeah, that was a memory I wanted to narrate.
Next, there's so many memories, Australian memories. There's so many great dismissals that, of course, well documented, even in terms of the Gatting ball to Strauss, so on and so forth. But what catches your mind, sir?
Something that I love to do in 2011 in a big bash game. He was talking on air to the commentators, and he's like, "Yeah, this is what I've bowled so far, and now I think he's going to look to sweep me. So what I'll do is I'll just bowl him around his legs." And the guy goes on to do it. It's probably one of the greatest moments of TV as well. If you are a cricket fan, if you're a sports fan, I mean, the essence of sport is unpredictability. And if you're able to call it correctly, and if you're able to execute it exactly how you said it, just a few seconds ago, it just tells you in terms of how a thinking mind and how a great and shrewd man, as Akshay said. And, really love that moment. That I can exactly feel how I felt then. So that just tells you how much of a thinker and how ahead of everybody he was in that race of reading the game. So I think that, and just the one line that he said that I didn't get when he said so much in commentary, that you have to be ready to lose to win. I don't think I quite understood it then when I heard it for the, I don't know, umpteen number of times, but now I do when I don't see India closing or the knockout games, that maybe that is what is stopping. You're not ready to lose to win. So yeah, I think those two just stay with me for a long time.
And many people, if they had to really name an all-time 11, Shane Warne is definitely a guy who is probably the top pick, if not the second or third name on that list. Hayes, Shubham Gupta, all you guys having your thoughts about Shane Warne, which is most appreciated. And I'll spend another 2 minutes on this topic because here are my thoughts about him. And I feel it's another quote. I think it came out from Mike Atherton when they were working together at Sky Sports, where he went on to say that Shane Warne is probably the best captain Australia never had. And it makes sense because even if you look at all the 2008 RR archives and the names in that RR dressing room, it wasn't the best of squads. There were people like Abhishek Jhunjhunwala, no disrespect to the names I'm going to mention, Swapnila Snotkar, young Ravindra Jadeja, Kamran Khan, Yusuf Pathan, raw talents which Shane Warne absolutely molded and chiseled and got the best out of, albeit smoking a cigarette behind the side screen, but he got the job done. And it was brilliant to see. And there were so many dismissals which really come to mind. My first ever memory of Shane Warne was as a 7-year-old child watching the 1999 World Cup, getting Gibbs out, getting, I think, another South African out. Brilliant. And I've seen so many documentaries and masterclasses of Shane Warne. It's just second to none. Do, of course, check that video out, like I said, and do let me know your thoughts about it. I'll take some of the comments pertaining to Warne right now. Warne was as promiscuous as James Hunt, if not more. Chuckling away, says Hayes. Shubham Gupta, when Warner won the first IPL and Gilly won the second, I thought Indians won't be able to win in their own league and Aussies will dominate yet another league. But RR, of course, still remembers Shane Warne. Warne was able to captain the Royals even with the language barrier. True GOAT. And Santosh Shurappa saying his important knock in the 2005 Batsman Test in the second innings, although they lost, but he got out that final push for the target indeed. And finally, Kalu Mama saying, how can I remember Shane Warne if I'm 20 years old? Man, you will just see some of the most magic balls that anyone can bowl in the history of the game if you go check it out on YouTube, indeed. And Warne winning the inaugural IPL, saying Shubham Gupta was his favorite memory. We all know Shane Warne's got 708 test wickets, but how many first-class wickets did he get? I know you guys are quickly going to Google it. Don't worry, I'll tell you right now. 1,319. That's insane in terms of first-class wickets. But rest in peace, Shane Warne. You've been a true legend, and you still continue to inspire cricketers till today to take up the sport. Right, so that was the MNL question tonight, and we can do away with that particular graphic because time for the best of the rest, which approaches our screens next. Right, we'll start with the WPL, even though we want to talk about PSL, Australia, New Zealand, Lord Shardul, like the thumbnail suggests, and lots more talking points indeed. The WPL is happening right now, and as you can see, Akshay is going mad. So, Akshay, quick score update for all you guys joining us right now live. And do you honestly get the vibes of Isala Cup Namde? Don't just say it.
I've never said it. In all fairness, I have never said it. Nikhil bhai, kuch bhi. When have I ever said it?
जितना वो छोड़ के जितना बोला है वो काफी है क्या? I mean, he doesn't have to even say those words for us to feel
But,
like that.
I mean, okay, ठीक है, irrespective. I know I'm a fan. I'm a fan, but they have I will admit WPL के मामले में कम से कम I did say they have a very good side, which I still hold by. I mean, I still hold that thought. The fact that they haven't performed to the best of their sort of potential, that's a whole another story. But could that be the case this time? I mean, let's just wait, man. The way they've played the last two games just sort of makes you wonder what on earth are they doing, especially that Mumbai game. Absolutely bizarre. Like, how did they play that way? And the fact that people were trying to justify saying, no, the surface could be different and all. And then Mumbai showed, Yastika Bhatia showed that there were no demons in the pitch. So that's why I'm not sure about RCB so far. But DC seems to be doing really well. So fingers crossed. All I want is a new winner. That's it. At this point in time, I don't want to see the same team winning again and again. So as long as it's not a team that's already won, I'm fine with it.
Abbas getting chatty.
100% goes without saying, which is why I say, if anything, the only form of optimism you would see pre-season would be with the WPL side. I don't think you've ever seen me optimistic about the IPL side in like so far, at least in the last couple of months. It's only been the WPL side where I've been slightly more optimistic. Oh wow, Shubham. For more such stats, follow Shubham Gupta as well. But I just had to add one more thing. If for what it's worth, RCB versus Delhi and Mumbai played 6, lost 6. RCB against UP Warriors and Gujarat Giants played 6, won 4. Just goes on to show that they've not been up to the mark so far in terms of playing to their full potential. And yeah, as long as they're not able, as long as they are able to bridge that gap, they should be able to do well for themselves.
Okay, and just before I ask Nikhil a few things on the WPL, wanted to ask you your fan experience going for a non-RCB game in Bangalore. There's a lot of talk about the audience, Akshay, and how many numbers have been turning up to the Chinnaswamy, and it's fantastic to see in this first leg. How was your impression watching the WPL game live? Was it as good as an IPL game?
Oh, easily. Yeah, the RCB game was practically just like any other RCB game, men's or women's. And the non-RCB, the non-RCB game that I went for, which was Mumbai versus UP Warriors, again, I wouldn't say fantastic turnout. I mean, it was still good compared to what we saw last year. It was still better than that. And you could see the crowd being vociferous. You could see them supporting the sides. You could see them cheering for players, cheering for boundaries and wickets. And that's what you want to see at the end of the day. You want the domestic talents to get a feel of what it is like to play under pressure, to play in front of crowds, to play under lights. So the fact that they are getting that experience is just great. So 100% it was a great experience for me.
I see where Santosh is coming from with regards to, because the ticketing is so cheap, does it almost kind of just get bums and seats, but not the real N2 fans? It'd be like, match not number.
I do agree, but at the end of the day, you need to start from somewhere, right? So I'd rather have a packed crowd that is not exactly knowledgeable than have no bums on seats, for example, to put it bluntly. That way, I get Santosh's point. I get where he's coming from, but definitely this crowd has proven the fact that BCCI need not host games just in Mumbai. You can move across cities in India and you could see crowds still coming in, people still pouring in, cheering for their favorite players. But yeah, the crowd, I still have my reservations, but I'll just hold those thoughts for now. But yeah.
Okay, next, looking at the larger scheme of things for the WPL, we've all wanted this tournament to grow, and it will expand to more teams. But right now, even though it's a 5-team tournament, you're getting the impression that two teams really stand out. If not, Mumbai Indians going to win it again. So talk to me about that, and talk to me about who's going to win the WPL this time, man, because it's seemingly heading like the first season.
But I do feel there is a great chance for teams to catch up Mumbai. We've seen enough glimpses already in terms of why that could happen and where you can hurt them the most. So I think that's a positive. You expect that to happen in the next or the consecutive seasons because you start to realize that Mumbai are using a certain set of players only extensively in terms of they are our match winners and they are good. They are very good. So you will have to be at your absolute best and possibly need two, three individuals to have the best possible games to beat them. And that's what happened when UP beat them this time also and last year also. So that doesn't go away. But I think it's only Gujarat that I feel have completely looked like we don't know what you are doing or
Yeah.
they don't know what they're doing. Other four teams, I think they've had their chances and it is good. And I wouldn't be too harsh also on GG because it takes time. Mumbai also took time to gear up to IPL. So it took them 3 seasons. Again, they had always had the great names, but for them to win also, it took them time. But uh, maybe in the mini auction or in the times coming ahead, we'll see that change happening because for expansion, you will need the existing teams to get a bit better. So for that to happen, the more they play, the better they will get. And as Akshay said, hopefully more venues as well. That will just grow. In terms of who's winning, completely with Akshay, new winner. Anybody but Mumbai.
Yeah, and just playing devil ka vakil here. Gujarat Giants, no, have to be harsh on them because there's nothing like not just the 11. It almost seems like the players themselves. Like it. See, even RCB had a bad season last year. We're not talking about a bad season here, but the morale, the way the people within the squad are sort of reacting to it, it almost seems like there's nothing. There's nothing that makes you feel like okay, you know what? At least all's well within the team. Everything seems to be fine. No, like you just don't get a vibe. Like it's very sad that it sort of become this way. And we're only in the second season, and if things are turning pear shaped so early, you really have to question what's happening because absolutely bizarre. Yesterday was a game in the reckoning for them. They could have so easily won at the end of the first innings. Let me not even start on that fielding, on those fielding lapses, the drop catches, the misfields. Oh man, it was just very horrendous. They lucked out with the fact that Meghna Singh got a four. Again, I'm not demeaning or not discrediting any player, but that was already a plus. And despite that, them playing the way they did, Phoebe Litchfield, Beth Mooney, no one seems to be wanting to take the mantle, take the responsibility. Everyone's just sort of chipping it in the air and just getting out. That's the problem. Like last year, you at least saw the odd, at least Perry 50, the odd. So I'm taking RCB's example here because they also had a horrifying season last year. So it's possible. It's not. I mean, it is not impossible for teams with great players also to sort of have a bad season. But this seems a lot more than just that right now.
Okay, I mean, it just really makes you think a little bit more about the WPL because remember the IPL in 2008 saw Deccan and RCB finished 7th and 8th, but then the next year, those two teams ended up playing the final. So that's what made the nation kind of captivated by the IPL at that time. It was still in its infant phase. So that's what we want to see with the WPL as well. And remember, speaking of the WPL, I've had so much fun doing those fan cams. Go check it out. So show us some love in terms of our YouTube shorts and our Instagram reels. Lots to love on those two platforms.
50
Right,
for Perry.
50 for Perry, and I was just going to come to her just to close this chat up because she hit about 3 sixes in that over, and it seems like the Chinnaswamy crowd today are getting their money's worth because it's the final day they're going to see the RCB women play for another year at their home ground. They've seen Smriti get an 80, they've seen Perry get a 50, so let's see if they can get RCB to see another win or if it's Nikhil's beloved team UP. Right, let's speak about the PSL, boys, really quickly, because what's happening there, and any sort of reflection, because I can only see the points table, Multan Sultan really killing it, but surely there's something else to come out of that tournament, apart from Azam Khan playing the guitar to Shadab Khan. Did you see that clip?
Not yet, but Shadab has just got out on 80 as well. So that's synonym. And see with Pakistan, I think Multan is a good example to keep checking in terms of usage and using players better. Not surprised who was there before. But looking forward to see how that man does at RCB now that he's here. And okay, I for once thought Akshay is going to sneeze. तो मैं रुक गया.
What a shot! No, sorry, but just saw Perry slog sweep the bones of this delivery by Deepti Sharma. So was just surprised with that. But yeah, sorry, Nikhil bhai. Oh, she shattered the glass of the car. Avnish, the glass is
Oh,
shattered.
completely gone.
Absolutely shattered. Yeah, you should see this. Oh, it's
Really?
almost like this is gully
Yeah,
cricket.
yeah.
Oh,
They had to
the
open the
Tata
car to
punch,
get the ball out.
these glass. Oh, the visuals, the stunning visuals.
I can
Oh, that's proper punch, proper Perry
Yeah.
punch, if you want to call it that way.
I think I can see it at the corner of my eye, but lots of people going mad. Mehul, sports fan, good to see all you guys. Haha, Perry's a legend. I think that's my dinner then, boys. Tonight, Peri chicken from Nando's, indeed, to celebrate Elise Perry and the potential RCB win, indeed. But quickly, Akshay, PSL, two things I wanted to ask you. One thing I want to ask you, one thing I want to showcase. The one thing I want to ask you is Hessin is not having a really good time at the PSL so far by the looks of things.
Not so
And-
far, not so far. He's still
Okay.
in fourth position, so we'll
Then
have
the
to sorry.
background confirms. The background confirms.
Background confirms you're on your niece's
That's-
house.
That's
And he's
un-
speaking on mute. Shabash.
Okay, we'll come back to Akshay in just a bit. I think she's crying and laughing at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
And she's made an absolute. Oh my word! It's all going off with the MNL. Absolute shambles with regards to the
Sorry about
sound,
that.
but we really appreciate Akshay's niece for making another appearance. I mean, we need to start paying her appearance fees, I feel.
Clearly. I hope. I mean, her fees would be, a couple of toffees and chocolates. That's for sure. Could be the case, but when it comes to when it comes to the PSL, of course, Multan Sultans. Sorry, before that, Islamabad United not having the greatest of seasons, but it's so good to see Shadab Khan come good. We'd spoken about how he would want to have a terrific season in order to sort of come back into the Pakistan setup. We saw him promote himself to number 3. He's regularly been batting at number 4 even. So it's good to see him come good with the bat, with the ball as well. He's not been too bad. But when it comes to, of course, now that Nikhil has said that, I'm guessing a wicket's fallen. So I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, when it comes to Multan Sultans, of course, it actually was a side that I thought would not make it. Oops, good catch there by Poonam Khemnath. When I saw the squad, I was like, kya hai? Kyun hai? Because we knew what sort of a setup they had last year. Riley Russo, Tim David, Kyron Pollard even, and all of those names. And now suddenly, kya Riza Hendricks, Rizwan, will they be able to do this? Kahan se kya karenge? But completely agree with Nikhil bhai. Just goes on to show, even with limited resources, if you know how to use them, if you know how to tweak, how to play with them, maximizing your resources, and voila, you don't need the best of players to sort of come up with a top-notch performance. So yeah.
And the exact opposite of that is Lahore. They have everybody in terms of potential people that they can use at the spot in terms of bowling. Okay, of course, individual form is also a concern, but it just tells you could win previous year, but still not have any clue how to get those wins on board in the next one. So also, if you haven't checked out, there have been a couple of games where spinners have taken 3+ wickets in the last 3 overs. So please do check out. It's absolutely pandemonium in that in some of those games. So do check that out as well.
Yeah, the PSL final, remember, is of course on the 18th of March, which is a Monday. And I wish it was on the 17th, because then we could have got Mark Butcher, who's commentating from Islamabad, to join us on that Monday Night Live. It wasn't a B. And the other thing about the PSL that I was going to mention, our old friend Darren Sammy, who of course I've interviewed in the past, we replugged that on the app and the website. And he goes on to speak about a whole host of things, including why he loves Pakistan so much, the PSL, Peshawar Zalmi, and how he had a selfie-bration with him, Kesrick Williams, and a couple of Pakistan aunties. Go check that chat out. It's absolutely fascinating to hear from Darren Sammy, indeed, who is in action, I think, with Peshawar Zalmi, I think, this week as well.
Yeah.
Subrat Acharji, good to see you. Randomly giving us KKR's 11, and though we have not spoken about them, I've mentioned KKR once with regards to SRH's opening fixture. And of course, if you guys are joining us right now, we really appreciate all of you. Like Ramana Kiran, guys, the kid reacted to Cummins becoming captain. That's all. Fair reaction. Essentially, we were trying to make it a more holistic place for all your fans to get on and get chatty with us, even in terms of videos. So that's how it is. So WPL done, PSL done, Ranji then, because the final four stand, and it's pretty much now essentially Mumbai versus who, boys? Vidarbha MP. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I Nikhil
Don't
bhai,
think it's
pehle
as
aap-
clear. I don't think it is as clear. But looking really happy with the way Mumbai found a way. I think that is any which ways the topic or something that you'd love to see. Many Ranji proper followers will call it a proper Khadus performance in terms of coming back from where. And Shardul Thakur, yeah, it's always pleasing to see him do well. Uh, a proper epitome of we keep trying to come in that situation, and from there to forget getting them back. He's put them so far ahead that TN had no chance. And then he came back with the ball also to do the damage. So ऐसा नहीं था कि घाव देके छोड़ दे. He's like, wait, I'm coming back. I'm not done yet. So uh, first FC turn. Hopefully a few more to follow in that regards. But really lovely, lovely performance. And it's also Tanush Kotia that I'm looking forward to. Uh, Something to keep an eye on. Runs with the bat. Exactly, Mehul. I don't know if I can tell anybody is in line to be a successor of Ashwin, but you need to try options. I think he's showing good potential there. So let's see how that works out. And Sai Kishore as well. You cannot forget that performance. He's been continuously taking wickets. I tweeted as well. Hopefully he can be part of the squad. Saurabh Kumar can play New Zealand, Bangladesh, but I really want Sai to be part of the setup soon, so that India and then India soon.
Yeah, I mean, Shardul, you mentioned it over there. It was almost like a Lord Shardul-esque match because we've seen it at the Oval where he just absolutely went berserk with the bat. It was similar on a tough condition-based pitch over there against the likes of Sai Kishore, you mentioned. And then to come back and do it with the ball as well. He got Sai Sudarshan out for a duck. Then he came back in that second spell, or third spell was it, where he removed Vijay Shankar, who was looking good for his 44 at the time. And then even in the second innings, he got a couple of key wickets. So 4 wickets and that 109 to boast of, taking Mumbai to the final. And only time will tell if it's Vidarbha or MP, because day 3 stumps, I think Vidarbha were leading by 261. So let's see if those boys can make a final against the mighty Mumbai. Just want to showcase the newsletter also in just a bit, but Ranji final at Bankere, saying Santosh Odapa. Sports fans saying Mumbai is 9, 10, 11 scoring centuries. Really disappointing how Tamil Nadu did compete in the semis, but how come Washington Sundar has dipped so much? He was good in the 2021 England series. He made his debut in the 2017-18, still 24. Ragnarok, that's a fantastic question. We'll, of course, answer it in the 12th man segment. There's plenty more crazy, random, miscellaneous questions, beg your pardon, that you can ask us. So feel free to get chatty in the comments. And hello to all you lovely people joining us right now. Please like this video. Really means a lot to us. And like guy said, I think it was Tushar Singh who said, one of the best MNL so far. We really, really appreciate that kind of positive energy to get the week off to a fantastic start. Right. What else to talk about? Australia, New Zealand before the newsletter pops in. Australia getting the job done. And man, that WTC looks really, really good for Australia right now. And it seems like they're going to make another final. But of course, still lots of cricket to play. They've got the points in the first test. And pretty much thanks to Nathan Lyon and yet another five for his 24th in his test match career. 6 for 65 to get New Zealand bowled out. There's so much of talking points from that test match with regards to Kane and how his struggles have been against Australia. Glenn Phillips, the bowler, and not to forget other talking points like Cameron Green and his spot at number 4. What caught your eye? And I'll start with Nikhil here. Obviously, it was a 3:30 start in the morning on Amazon Prime Video. I only saw the highlights. But
Same.
did you see any passage of play in the morning, anything, or you just saw the highlights?
No. I would have loved to catch up on it, but it's way just past working hours now to wake up to that. And again, New Zealand again isn't a side that I feel they have some kind of stuff that they just don't kind of turn up Mrs. Australia is what I feel. So that's also a downer in terms of wanting to wake up to watch it. So yeah, I think only highlights and the green knock, as you said, something that Australia will be really happy with. Something that they will not be happy with is the form of Marnus. and I'm really looking forward to how he turns it around for himself, because it's been a while now. It's not a small phase now, so that is something to look out for. And Lyon becoming the first spinner to take uh, a 10 for. Uh, I mean, it just tells you cricket. Sometimes you've seen so much and you still see, oh wow, this has happened for the first time in so many years. So
What a
nine
10
centuries
for New
now.
Zealand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
yeah,
spinner to take a 10 for in New Zealand in a long, long
correct.
time. And again, that was the ninth host nation
Ninth
against
overall.
ninth overall. And then
Yeah.
ninth place where he's taken a five for. So some kind of record
Oh,
there as well in terms of the spinner to take nine five wicket all in nine nations. So it just tells you cricket, it just keeps giving, and New Zealand also keep giving to Australia. So that's also there.
Yeah, man, like this test rivalry really is, of course, a one for the Trans Tasmanians to tell us more about. But like someone pointed out there, they have a horrible record against the Aussies. Kane's horrible record against the Aussies was visible. Actually, there's two things I want to ask you about. One is on Nathan Lyon, because we put out a poll with regards to whether he's better or Ashwin's better. People were, of course, defending Ashwin in terms of the better batter and the all rounder. And of course, him not starting games as much as India would want him to start. And then Australia have Nathan Lyon, who's just been doing it for fun. And we put that depiction out there. Do you think Lyon is the greatest in his era? Or do you still think Ashwin is a student of the game and has more tricks in his locker than someone like a Nathan Lyon?
man, that's a loaded question. That's a toughie. Like, because I have more than just a soft corner for Lion. I'll try and be as sort of objective as possible without sort of overly complicating it. Uh, Lion has more wickets in tougher conditions. Again, that I'm not taking anything away from Ashwin, by no means. Ashwin has been the bigger match winner in general. Like, if like I don't know if that sort of clearly separates the two, but I'll just put it that way. I cannot possibly say one is better than the other, because both of them have been excellent in their own right. So yeah, it's genuinely tough. Exactly, Lion being better in England, Australia, just that's exactly sort of what I was trying to say. Just reiterating my point. Maybe sort of overly simplified it. That it's not that Lion wasn't good in Asian conditions himself, but again, it's also a factor of Lion playing more in England and Australia than Ashwin. So Ashwin did play more in Asia. Lion did end up playing more there. So that's naturally a bias that sort of sets in. So which is why again it's very tricky. But I'll just sort of leave it at that right now. Yeah, it's hard to differentiate between the two.
Okay, I'll just get Nick's thoughts on Lion as well. Nick's, what sets him apart? Longevity, yes, and the fact that those four, I say four with the three paces and Lion, they've just played so many games. So, of course, if you're playing so many games, you expect to take so many wickets. But the fact that he's done it in so many conditions, you have to really tip your hat to someone like Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's no taking any credit away whenever you put one, subjectively above the other in any condition. So even if you say there are many who say that Ashwin doesn't have a great record in Australia, but he's gradually done better and he's found a way to, impact the games. And that is something that I think probably for me sets Ashwin just minutely ahead of Lion, because with Lion, you know what to expect. With Ash, you will not always. He will find a way. And again, him not playing a lot of away games is not due to him alone. It's also due to Jadeja being part of the setup, who is a better batter as compared to him. So I think there are a lot of factors there which haven't allowed quite Ashwin to probably play the number of games that he could have, and it tells you how much that's an opportunity lost for him to really grow more as a bowler. So I think Lion, while he has done his best, uh, I think it's also a good sign or a good story to say that you can have what works for you and still be so different from a guy who's again taken 500 plus wickets, but is completely different in terms of how he operates. In terms of, you could potentially see Ashwin having four test match bowling actions in 4 games. You can't even imagine that with Nathan Lyon. And again, it's not that we are just going by vibes. He's doing that for a reason. He's trying to find a way to get people up. So I think it works for Ashwin. It works for Lyon. I don't think there is a very clear way to say that okay, this is better. It's subjective. For me, Ashwin's ability to be able to try things. It's also a good thing for him. It helps him improve and get better. Something that Lyon has also discovered, that it isn't often that his come good in terms of when they require him to. So a bit of that as well, and maybe we can have a deep dive one day just talking about Nathan Lyon and Ashwin and their distribution of wickets in terms of who did when, where, and in what conditions.
Okay, super. And before I ask you guys in the question, I mean in the comments, my question in terms of little trivia before Akshay's proper quiz, I want to know one thing because we've seen how Nathan Lyon operates in the fourth innings of a test match. Now, how many wickets does he have in the fourth innings of a test match? Warne stands tallest in that regard in test history with 138 wickets. How many wickets do you think Nathan Lyon has? So it has to be below 138 wickets. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll share out the answer in about 5 to 10 minutes time. So don't worry about that. Quickly, just to finish New Zealand Australia, it'll be criminal of me not to ask a huge RCB fan about bloody Cam Green and how he's turned up to that number 4 spot. And what a 10th wicket partnership, bro. Ex RCB, former RCB with Hazelwood over there, current RCB, present RCB with Green over there. But still, the way he literally took them to the cleaners, it gives you a little bit of indication and happiness before the 22nd of March, Akshay.
I mean, given that we're not expecting anything good to come out of what's going to happen from the 22nd of March, might as well be happy with what's happening right now and take solace. हाँ ठीक है भाई, पहले तो मार दिया ना, बस खत्म. मार्च में मारा, देख मार्च में उसने 174 मारा, बस खत्म. बस that's it. That's all I'll say. But fantastic knock. I again did not saw it. I did not see it live, but did catch the highlights and very very well paced. And also importantly, the way he sort of stitched that partnership with Hazelwood, just going on to show, because it's a skill. Make no mistake, in Test cricket, something I'd spoken about even in the last MNL. Dhruv Jurel, more than the knock itself, it was the way he played with the tail that sort of gave us a lot more confidence, because we've been cribbing about Jadeja for the same reason. Playing with the tail, he's not been good when it comes to that. So seeing Green do what he did was so good to see, because again, make no mistake, he's still a youngster. He's still a novice, if you want to sort of classify him that way, if you want to call him that way. So given that, very heartening for Australia and international cricket in general to see once more another mercurial all-rounder coming up from Australia or England. So yeah, it's great. It's great for sure.
Mercurial तो नहीं है by any angle. Green मतलब you can call him anything but mercurial.
क्यों? I would call him that only. Why? आपको लगता है एकदम consistent है क्या? नहीं, I want to know, like,
consistent. नहीं, it's not about consistent. I think he's a far more, again, maybe it's just the usage of the word. I would probably not associate mercurial as a word with Green. That's
like मेरे दिमाग में, from what I understand, mercurial is for high variance, and उस हिसाब से मैं कह रहा था. That's how I sort of, and that's what I felt, but I might be wrong. Yeah, I might be wrong. That's
wrong. नहीं, सबका अपना definition है. That's also okay.
No, I feel generally when you look at the green teams in cricket, they are mercurial, whether you're Pakistan or you're South Africa. But the green name might not mean that Cam is
see that
mercurial.
wearing, of course.
Don't get me started. Max Moses already had his say over there. We'll get Max's comment in just a bit. But Cam Green, well done. Literally Bam Green with regards to all the hitting on display. Hopefully it's not Scam Green for RCB. That's the only thing. Because there was another running joke.
You have more punts waiting.
I have one more.
We have gone from mercurial to Scam in 5 minutes. Not even 5, 1 minute.
No, one more pun with regards to Cam Green. It's probably the best of the lot. Wham, bam, thank you, Cam. Like, when he goes around batting for RCB, the Chinnaswamy, come on. But anyway, jokes apart, let's move on. And the answer to those people who, of course, are getting chatty with that Lion question that I asked you guys. I asked you guys who's taken the most fourth innings wickets in Test history. Now, Shane Warne, 138. Nathan Lyon, how many does he have? Greg saying 92? No. Saptik saying 118? No. But Saptik are very close, I must say. It's 119. So it is, of course, Warne, who has, 138, then Nathan Lyon, then Herath, then Murli, and then McGrath. Because, look, these are little stats that we'd love to throw you at cricket.com indeed. And yeah, more other great stats which you guys could have checked out. Santosh, meanwhile, absolutely hooked to the Santosh, I was going to say Santosh Derby, the Nagin Derby, SL versus Bangladesh, going on right now, and it's going down to the wire. Apparently, it's not a good day for CSK fans because not just did Conway get ruled out for the initial bit of the IPL for CSK, but also Patirana having an absolute shocker in that game. So go check out all the live updates on cricket.com indeed. And thank you, Vasant, saying good wordplay indeed. Adyayan Singhal, so you've been shouting out this comment for a while. Good to see you, Adyayan. Please like this video. I feel New Zealand hasn't been able to put pressure on the opposition from the very go. Even against a depleted South Africa, they were really slow in terms of scoring runs. The top order needs to come out good for New Zealand. It's a good point that you mentioned over there, because even that second test against South Africa, they got the job done, but they, of course, nearly were in a spot of bother and they needed their bowlers to bail them out. Dependable is a word, saying Ramna Kiran randomly. 1 wickets were probably England's clueless batsmen. People are still harping upon different things that we spoken about in the MNL, which just goes to show that this week there was so much to talk about. And if you guys are just joining us, we've spoken about SRH, we've spoken about Pat Cummins, we've spoken about Shardul, we've spoken about PSL, and not to forget the WPL as well. Before we get on to Akshay's quiz and the newsletter, any IPL sort of news we could share to the viewers right now in terms of the camp starting? I did speak to 2 SRH players earlier today for the potential episodes of Unwind. One's a bowler, one's a batter. Pretty much capped Indian players I'm talking about. I won't give the names away, but SRH have a camp starting in 3 days' time. I think RCB and CSK are going to start their camps respectively in a week's time from now. If not, the fringe players have already started. Any other IPL news we're hearing, Akshay? I'll start with you.
None that I know of. Of course, all the camps and all of that have begun. KKR too have been doing the camps for a while now. CSK also, from what I understand, had a pre-season camp of a week or so, and now because Dhoni and all have come to Jamnagar, of course, you know why. So after that, they'll all be sort of reconvening, and everyone will start their sessions. But yeah, pretty much it. No changes or no personnel changes or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
next.
have you seen the punt 6 that is hit in practice for Bangla? That's a good video if you haven't checked it out. So
Oh, is it?
hoping it's true. Yeah, in a practice game there was a proper 106 of Rishabh. So hopefully he's fit fine, and daring to see him hit sixes.
That's crazy. By the way, KKR fans, I can tell you all that Gautam Gambhir has a serious message for you all in terms of the players that, of course, have been picked up by KKR this season. And he went on to say, and I quote, I made it very clear on day one that IPL for me is serious cricket. It's not about Bollywood. It's not about you. It's not about the party, after party and stuff. It's just about going there and playing competitive cricket. And that's the reason why it's the toughest league in the world. He went on to say it's probably the closest to international cricket as compared to any other league. And if you want to be known as a successful franchise, you should be able to deliver on the cricket field. I think this is one of the things that he was just telling his players. And remember, Gambhir did captain KKR, if you guys didn't know, and won with them as well in 2012, 2014. So all the teams will have their own little camp starting very shortly, if not already, getting into the rigmarole of practice, so on and so forth. The fixtures have been announced, which we spoke about last MNL as well. Why didn't Avnish go to Jamnagar, mate? Cricket.com
He was
for
too
you
busy.
guys. Too
Yeah,
busy.
exactly.
I
He
have to
was too
serve the
busy.
public. The WPL
Covering the
is
WPL.
exactly ladies
What's
first. Ladies first.
the word rigmarole? That's one new word learned today. He also
Mhm.
uses in the Bharat Taran interview, of course. And another one that Akshay used, मैं नाम भी भूल गया उसका कि क्या बोला था, याद आया तो वापस बोलता हूँ. In terms of
Vociferous.
no, वैसे अब इतना तो इंग्लिश आता है यार, मतलब
क्या बोला? What did Avni say?
some weighty for a speak. I can't recall the name, but rigmarole is something.
Conspicuous.
Conspicuous.
हाँ,
Nice.
हाँ.
So MNL is turning into English language tutorial as well. That's good to see.
Okay.
We all learn. हम आपसे cricket सीखते हैं तो बदले में कुछ दे रहे हैं बस. Everyone's
Thank
learning.
you. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, Ramana, you said dependable. Okay, but that was
Yeah,
green
exactly.
clarified, of course, by him or her. I still don't know if Ramana is a guy or a girl, but let me know. 12 from 6 balls for Bangladesh and Crick Nerds. So it's kind of a watch along with
10 from
WPL
3.
at 10 from
10
3
from
right
3.
now, apparently.
Yeah.
Insane. And any news in Sarfaraz going to any team saying Santosh Sharma? We'll answer all of that in just the 12th man.
KKR supposedly having approached Sarfraz. That's the last update we had. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, super. Before we get on to Akshay's quiz.
Sorry. I think there's one big update. How did we forget? Sorry, Devin Conway has been ruled out. Broken thumb. So
I mentioned
yeah.
it briefly. I don't
Oh,
think there'll
did
be
you?
replacement players, right?
No, there will be. Why will
No,
they not be? Of course.
but he's
Because he's
just
returning in May. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
3 weeks.
he's returning in May. Yeah,
Oh, so they are
And,
fine with him not
yeah.
coming.
yeah, of
Don't,
course,
bro,
of
Dhoni
course.
will make anyone open. He'll be like Conway. It's like, tu aaja. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll sort you out, bro.
And
शीशा
in,
हुक्का शीशा
interestingly, in the lineup that I made in Jan, I didn't have him
Rachin.
opening.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had Rachin opening.
I know. Yeah,
So yeah,
That's bad.
that's a
And
fair. It's
Nani,
a good option to have.
yeah, and Nani Korsik, somebody told me that they gave $8 million to cricket.com to come to Jamnagar. Yeah, Cock being the
yeah.
crucial word there.
Cricket.com probably got it. Clearly, we didn't get it.
Absolute cock from Nani Kaur over there. Right. What else have you guys missed this week? Well, it's the newsletter, which is, of course, been put out from Gaurav Nandan Tripathi, who's our writer. And what does he
TNT.
have in the edition of 4th of March? Well, the usual familiar names we've already discussed. Shardul
Lord.
features, Cam Green features.
All three
There is
all-rounders.
all three
All three
rounders,
all-rounders.
as you can see. What else over here with regards to cricket.com? Because Afghanistan have mentioned their squad alert for the 3-match ODI series against England. Different things to this that you must have missed during the particular week which has gone by. Remember, Neil Wagner, we spoke about a little bit last week. Ridiculous over there. Then, as you could see, Nicole
Nicole
Lofty-Eaton,
Payton.
absolute brilliant
Incredible game.
bludgeon.
Please, yeah, just watch these highlights if you can. Absolutely gobsmacking hits, some of them. You
Yeah,
love them.
insane. 33 balls, which is madness. And sure, people will say, yeah, look at the game and it was Nepal and all of that, but still, absolutely brilliant. Fastest T20 century of all time. Cam Green, we spoke about. Shardul Thakur, we spoke about. Chinnaswamy, WPL crowd, amazing. Like we also touched
Yeah.
upon the fact that they just come in terms of numbers and a lot of banners as well. Cricket.com moment of the week is a new introduction over there. So go check out this particular Twitter clip, and it is that hilarious run out between Kane Williamson and Will Young, and Manas Labuschagne running out Kane Williamson over there. Controversies as well with regards to the BCCI contract situation that we spoke about, picture of the week, so different things of this, and not to forget that Bharataran interview that I did in the second
Yeah.
episode of Unwind. Go check it
Good
out.
stuff.
Amazing insights about Kohli, Mitchell Stark, the IPL, and some
Murli
written
Vijay.
and Murli
And
Vijay
Murli
as well.
Vijay. And Ishant Sharma as well. So
Ishant Sharma, lots to love if you're an Indian fan, and not to forget some crazy interviews that the boys have done with regards to the written context, including a Grace Harris one. Right, time to stop this particular bit and go on to the next segment because it's time that you guys love, absolutely love. I'm talking about Akshay's quiz. How's that? Right. Oh, and sorry, Ramana, you're a guy. Absolutely apologies. I think for the fourth
Will
time.
you?
I think I've got this question up.
last time today I learned Avnish ke liye ek aaj ho gaya.
Sorry, sorry. Absolutely apologize. Right, Akshay, take it on because you have a good one this time, and hopefully it's not an RCB player.
Doubtful.
Dude, you cannot
I
talk
doubt
about
that.
a player who's played for multiple teams. Like the odds of that happening are next to none. Next to none. It's not. There's no bias here. It's not like I'm searching for RCB players. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, going to what we had last week, of course, Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, Royal Challengers Bangalore, and Sunrisers Hyderabad were the four franchisees this particular player had represented. Of course, the correct answer being Karan Sharma, and a lot of you did comment it right correctly. And but of course, there can only be one winner, and the winner this time around, or rather for last week's Howzzat, is Bill M. You know who he is. He has a very colorful surname, so let's not sort of utter that out loud. But Bill M, congratulations. Just DM us on Twitter, and
Avnish has forgotten who the guy is.
wants to just go and check who
Is
this
it,
is.
is it Bill Mumlo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo.
That's right. Bill Mumlo. So congratulations on that, Bill. Coming to this week, of course, there we go. So Kings 11 Punjab, Kolkata Knight Riders, Pune Warriors India, and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So four teams played for by this particular player. Once again, guys, wait for the live stream to end. Do not do not put your answers, comment your answers in the live chat. Wait for the live stream to end, and you can comment on the main comment section once that's done. So there you go. Once again, it's the Kings 11 Punjab, Kolkata Knight Riders, Pune Warriors India, and the Royal Challengers Bangalore. So who do you think this player is? So yeah, have at it, and let's see who wins at this time.
I just want to ask you, like, for example, I know people will say Steve Smith was in the RCB squad, Booby was in the RCB squad. Do you count people like that, or people who played for that?
No, of course. Part of the squad, matlab, of course. Now, why would you not? Yeah. Karan Sharma also was part of RCB in 2009, so you should consider that.
Fair. And also for the uninitiated, you put out this one for this week. So is it in particular order that the player started his career in Kings 11 and then moved on?
No. By now, the audience has understood that. So it's all alphabetically arranged. Kings 11 Punjab, Kolkata Knight Riders, Pune Warriors India, and Royal Challengers Bangalore. They don't need to be sort of, they're not too worried. They're clearly getting the answers right. So clearly they know their way around it. Shot by Kiran Navgire. That, oh wow, man. She's timed the bones of it. That's a 6. Fantastic 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant game which is going on right now. Brilliant games, I should say. And Santosh has a good one with regards to Howzzat, because episode 32 of MNL today, and if you observe the first 6, 7, maybe 10 episodes of MNL, Akshay had different questions, some wagon wheel ones, some connect the dots and stuff. So when will we be done with this player identification set?
There's no time. The day I have more time to prepare, I'll definitely try and come up with something else. But yeah, it just helps me save time. But 100% feedback taken. We'll definitely keep this in mind for sure, Santosh.
Okay, so crack in your comments, of course, not just in the live chat, but of course after the show ends. And let's see if you guys are as lucky as Bill Mumlo, who won last week's particular competition. Right, time to end the particular show, but it is the 12th man segment where we take all the questions from you lovely people. Right, Max Bojo with a random one. Y'all watched Dune 2? Heard of it, but I've not seen it. Not seen Dune 1 either.
Yep. Same here.
Okay, Abbas Kunde, am I sorting internal matter and pre-wedding? Question mark. Bro, I mean, just on that wedding, because I know I don't want to talk about shit stuff which don't matter to cricket.com. But if you look at the invited cricketers to that wedding, I understand some of the bigwigs in Indian cricket, your Dhonis, Rohits, Hardiks, and all of that. And obviously the Mumbai Indian following. But why is people like Tim David, Rashid Khan, Sam Curran there? Is it because they play the MI franchisees in other leagues?
That's it. I don't know if there's anything personal as well. Maybe they know them personally, they're good friends or something. But MI, that connect would definitely be there for sure.
Yeah, could be a potential future trades. Who knows?
Rashid, eyes on you there.
They've always wanted him. So
Yep.
By the way, a couple of random comments coming through from mail saying Jeff Lemon trolling Anurag Thakur for putting up his own photos in Dharamshala ground and street polls. I remember IPL used to be free in the early years. Promoting WPL and building a fan base is key. The success of women's cricket. And more questions to take right now. I promised Ragnarok that I'll take this one. Why do you think Washington Sundar has dipped so much in terms of a first-class cricketer, test cricketer, so on and so forth? Next, you want to shed light on this really quickly?
Yeah, it is something Paji also touched upon in one of the reviews that we had, in terms of him getting opportunities and you getting to see things that are convincing to you, but not to others. Even with the ball, I think he didn't get to do a lot and hasn't been doing as much as you expect him to. So again, how much of it is plans, how much of it is fitness is something that we don't know yet. He's been with the squad as well. So that is also something that I'm looking forward to see, because haven't gotten a time to see in entirety how he's going about his stuff in the domestic setup. So in terms of that, I can't say. But again, he's someone who has always, I have heard, have polarizing views. That there are some who always feel very strongly about him and his potential, because with the bat, we've always felt he'll do well. But how much of it have we seen and feel convinced by that case? Yes, he is somebody who should get a lot of chances. So I honestly don't have a very strong view on it as of now, because I don't think I've seen enough of him in the longer formats of the game.
Okay, remember, Washi, I think, has just played, 4 tests for India. And I think it was 1 against Australia and 3 against England. So let's see if it really kind of picks on from him from here going forward. More random questions. Earth is best saying, will MS Dhoni open for CSK? Yeah, open the bottles of champagne when they win another
So he'll be the
title.
first guy to come out for CSK when they come out to field. Correct. Earth is best.
Yeah, absolutely. Prajwala Bevanur, good to see you. Why is so much noise made about the players' contract like it's between the board and the players? Why to make so much fuss? But like anything else in Indian cricket, there's a lot of chatter, a lot of fuss, a lot of talking points. Many people not understanding the whole way of how the grading system works for the BCCI. We explained it for you earlier in the show, so go check it out. Indeed, there's a couple of more questions I want to take right now before we just
Till you
end up.
take them 24 runs of that over from Renuka. So that is okay. 40 for 0 after 3.
No wonder Akshay is not
Akshay
winning.
is quite.
2 overs, 40 runs. They've conceded 14 to just, yeah,
And what is the target?
199.
So it's 199. Let's see if RCB do win, because I'll tell you what.
It's at the side,
Congratulations.
right? So it's not winning.
Nice.
You know, like my sister and my mom told me, like, it's pretty cool that you're walking around with a Smriti jersey, because normally we see like Virat jerseys and Dhoni jerseys, but
Yeah.
now that's a change, and that's also a really, really cool thing indeed. Akshay, last couple of questions then. Kushal Shah saying, finally, guys, on the contract this month has been good for RCB bowling unit. Joseph helped win a test. Akarsdeep and Siraj performing well. All RCB fast bowlers getting a contract. Is it good signs going into the season, or do you think, again, different formats?
Didn't know we were playing red ball cricket in IPL, but yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Kushal. Good question.
I mean, great. Of course, very happy that they all are doing well, when it comes to red ball cricket. But not happy from an RCB POV, of course, because tournament start होने दो भैया, उसके बाद देखते हैं कि वहां पे क्या कर रहे हैं. रेड बॉल में अच्छा किया, इसका मतलब ये थोड़ी है कि व्हाइट बॉल में आके अच्छा करेंगे. So yeah,
Cam Green.
great.
Cam Green.
ओ वाह, मैं कब बोला कैम ग्रीन का कुछ भी? मैं तो वही बोला
मैंने
कि
किधर बोला कि तूने बोला, मैं बोला, तू बोला, मैं बोला, वो बोला.
You guys are ridiculous. Love the banter with Nix and Akshay, this MNL. And you guys would have probably caught most of it if you guys have been with us throughout the show. But look, speaking of the show, it's almost 90 minutes of absolute cricket, fun, banter, and information as well. And that's how we like to do things on MNL. I know it's kind of been watch along esque with certain reactions. We want to do the watch along because it's a really, really good game going on right now. But like I said at the start of the show, Mondays will be exclusively for Monday Night Lives. And I can't believe we won't be doing the RCB Punjab game in the IPL, because I think the first Monday of the IPL 2024, it's RCB Punjab. So we will be doing a Monday Night Live then, but we'll try to make it as entertaining it is for y'all. Final comment of the night comes from whom? AJ Ragnarok was saying 3-1 to make me remind myself of that particular shambles of a derby. I mean, ridiculous. Let me just leave it there. But yeah,
I'll make it a bit more positive for you. If RCB win, then it will be 3-1 versus UP in the WPL. So look at it that way.
Yes, maybe.
Right.
Maybe
Very,
exactly.
very kind of me to even give you that, but okay, I'll give you that.
For sure. And your ye bola, wo bola, this guy saying Ebola. Honestly.
Shabash.
Ridiculous. Just puns and rhymes. But look, communication, community is what we built. I was going to just really fluff my lines there, but lots of people are going apeshit at the TV in the office as well. And do you think RCB winning today's match? Prajwala, I think always they're going to win, but the way they've started with the ball, only God can help them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Good grief, guys. Let's end proceedings. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Please like this video. Please. It means a lot to us. Share it with all your cricket friends and tell them that you can be part of the MNL as well, because all comments, unlike any other Indian YouTube channel, we take, and that's what makes it a cracking show. Thanks, Akshay and Nix. We'll see you guys shortly. Plenty of content to come on cricket.com. So press the bell icon and stay tuned for further updates, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. We'll leave it there. Have a fantastic week, and
see you tomorrow.
There's more to come. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.